Hello family, I'm Robert, I'm a real alcoholic.
Hey Robert.
I would like to thank everyone for coming to this meeting. The Atlanta Step Up Society. The name of our meeting is Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But first, let's open with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We're working in the chapter 2 Wives, and we're going to be on page 106 at the bottom where it says, we began to ask medical advice. But first, I want to go over a couple things that's been happening. We had our storm, and it's gone. You know, the city's back running like it's supposed to. And, you know, we do the YouTube, and it's kind of free. And people all over the world watch this meeting. All over the world watch this meeting. And because of the holidays, and then we had, last week we didn't do a meeting. And the week before that, we kind of did what we must believe. So it's been 2 weeks without it being on the YouTube. People start calling the office. Want to know where it's at, what's going on, and then they start getting real serious. Saying stuff like, and it brought my consciousness, it expanded my consciousness how important it is. One lady said, I need the meeting, I need to see that YouTube, I need to see this meeting because it's saving my life. It's saving my life. So if you think about that, in the long term, you think about that, it's that it's doing what it's supposed to do. When you got people calling in saying that we need to have this meeting because it's saving my life, and I need to see it on the YouTube, then that means we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Welcome. So, with that in mind, I want to just talk a little bit about the spirituality of the program. All right, the spirituality of the program is very, very important. In our society, it's going to come back to the chapter that we're studying tonight. But in our society, we're mostly, you know, like our brain, we have a right brain and a left brain, you know, the sides. And we know physically that the right brain controls the left side of your body. The left brain controls the right side of your body. Then scientists went even further into the investigation of the brain. Well, we know now that left brain thinking has a lot to do with math, science, economics, material stuff, automobiles. You know, it's basically a lot of outside stuff. Education, going to school, that's left brain activity. The right brain activity is more spiritual or creative. Music, art, things of that nature. Spirituality, 12 steps. It's right brain. So, our society is a left brain dominated society. Anybody disagree with that? If you go to Harvard, they took religion out of the education system. You better not go in there talking about no religion. That's part of the right brain, it's not in there. Even music classes. When I was a kid, we took music. They took that out. A lot of that is out. A lot of art. A lot of the right brain stuff in the school system is not there. Okay? So, we're kind of off balance. We're kind of off balance. We're more dominated by the left brain, very little activity in the right brain. Then you look at the 12 step, we're talking about prayer and meditate, right brain. Being honest, open-minded, right brain. Making amends, right brain. It's all right brain side. So what we're trying to do is develop a balance in our psyche. That makes sense? We're trying to develop a balance. So we have a balance of it. We're going to talk about that in the book. But one thing specifically is that in the right brain side, you can use, and most of the right brain is invisible. You can use vision or imagination to create your life. That makes sense? You can meditate or close your eyes, meditate, lock into a desire, put the desire in your mind, project it to the end. I'm kind of telling you how to do it. Put it to the end. To the end, what you desire, beam in it like it's like a laser beam, not just a light like these light bulbs up here is everywhere, but kind of focus on that, keep it, and it will materialize in your world, in your life. That's a known fact. So what we did was, I asked for some help. Remember we had Ken in the hospital, right? I asked for some help. I said, well, you know what? I know this stuff. I employ it in my life. People think I'm crazy. Because I can understand if you all left brain, you're going to think what I'm telling you is crazy. You know, so I said, well, I need some help. We got one of our own members that had major surgery that's in the hospital. I asked everybody, if you can, or if you want to, picture him in your mindset before you go to sleep at night. Picture him in your mindset as being well, being healed. You know, for people like people who really understand the mind or the imagination, it's sick to believe in sickness. You want me to say it again? It's sick to believe in sickness. You don't have to. So I asked for help to picture Ken healed, picture Ken well. Let's see him from that position. Forget about the sickness. That next day, and this was on a Wednesday, because we did it in this class, everybody up said they're going to do some of that. That next day, I went to the hospital to visit Ken Thursday morning. He was sitting up, getting a haircut. By the end of that day, the doctor came in and told him that his blood work was all clean. Now, I'm not going to go in detail about his surgery, but to me, we did what we're supposed to do, and we got the miracle for doing it. And the reason I'm bringing that up because Ken is here with us tonight, and I want to welcome him and let him say something.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Ken, and I'm an alcoholic. Amen. And I want to thank y'all for all the wonderful cards, prayers, just everything, encouragement. I mean, I got a lot of well wishes from everybody, and it really went a long way into my getting better. It was really kind of a touch and go thing, because in the beginning, I was told I had a tumor, and that it was cancerous. And in the end, I was told I didn't have a tumor, and I didn't ever have any cancer. So really, it was just some misdiagnosis. You go in for one thing, and they look at it one way, and they come out another way. And it wind up being something entirely different. It's been a long road to recovery. But you know, I leaned on my recovery, because this is what really got me through it. You know, I believed in what they was doing was going to help me get better. I believed in the prayers and the well wishes that y'all sent to me that was going to make me better. I didn't have any negativity in the whole thing. I said, let God's will be done. And that's what really happened. His will was done, and I'm here today to say that. You know, I'm real grateful because I could have just took that the wrong way and just pulled me. You know I would think, pour me another drink, give me another rock, another hit, but I didn't do that. You know, I leaned on the faith And the encouragement in them 21 years I struggled. I leaned on that. And it helped me get to where I'm at today. I just want to let y'all know that this works. This stuff, it works. Even when you're down on your back, can't get up and can't do nothing. It works. See, I know that working these steps give me a different mindset on what I need to do for me. You know, it's just from day one when I came in recovery and I started getting better, and the better I got, the more I thought I need to give some of this stuff back. And see, by me giving back what was so freely given to me, it came right back to me.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? It just goes around in a circle. You know, hard work don't kill you. Hard work just make you better.
Okay.
And that's what this book requires, a little hard work, so you can get better. So you can be the productive man or woman that your parents who brought you in this world know that you can be. That even you know that you can be. No, you just got to believe in yourself, work hard at it. This is a program of can do, not do. This ain't no not do, it can do. It'll work if you work for it. And I want you to know that today, that if you work for this, anything, the sky's the limit. Anything can happen. See, I know that if I didn't believe in this, then all the other stuff I believed in wasn't going to work either. Because this ties in with everything that I do in my life today. You know, my wife is real fussy. She can make me put on all these clothes. Wrap up real tight. I don't want you to catch no cold. And, you know, I got a little upset with her because she was making me do all that, but all she was trying to do was help me out. See, and I got to look at that too.
Okay.
You know, it just, you know, I don't know. It's a lot of things I want to say, but I'm struggling with trying to say them. I want to say this before I sit down. I cried so much in the last 6 weeks that I can't cry no more. And I wasn't crying because of what happened to me. There was tears of joy.
Amen.
Of the people that came to see me. People that called me on the phone. My doctor said, I ain't never seen this many people come to see nobody. What are you doing? What's going on? And the day they did my surgery, they had so many people in the waiting room, they had to ask someone to leave. Wow. It's just too many of y'all. But I didn't have no hand in that. You know, it's just me. Those people felt they need to come and be with me or be with my family, and I'm grateful for that. You know, but the same thing that happened for me can happen for you.
Amen.
Just keep working on yourself and trying to be a better person. Just keep working these steps and you'll see a result. Because it do work. Believe me, this stuff works. It works, don't it, Ron?
Yeah, it works.
And you know, I know a couple of weeks before I got sick, Ron had been sick. And I was so happy to see him because I didn't get a chance to get down there to see him. But he ran and grabbed me and hugged me today, welcomed me back. You know, that's just how this program is, you know. You know, even though I wasn't there, my heart was there with you. I'm glad to see that you're doing okay too. And I just want to say to all of y'all, thank you very much. Thanks for the love, and thanks for everything. God bless you.
Well said.
Glad to have him back here. I can't wait to have him back in this company. I'm waiting on my break. They've been pulling me. Check this out. We're talking about faith. This ain't gonna be long, then we're gonna get into the study. But I like to study. You know, when I first got clean and sober, and I kind of like I felt like, and especially when we started this company. See, me and Ken started this company at the same time. I mean, we did it. We did it together. We had a vision in recovery that we felt, that's just me and him. This is not everybody. You know, we felt that in order to stay clean, because both of us in long-term treatment, that it was important to have a treatment facility with a built-in job placement system, you know, with employment. We thought that was very important, because I knew what it felt like when the treatment center I was in was telling me, get out and get a job. And I couldn't find a job. You know, they were like, had the gavel on me. Like, okay, you got one more day. You know, you one more day. And you got to go. So I kind of felt, and then and then we young in recovery and going out and looking for them jobs and getting that rejection. I'm already suffering from low self-esteem. Then you're going to put me down, and, I'm not getting hired and getting rejected, and I got to go see my case manager. They're saying you're going to have to do something fast. So we felt that employment was very important for early recovery. So you can work on yourself. And we held that vision, and we did what we did. We started this company with employment part, housing and employment, right? And 12 steps, recovery. So we had 3 tiers in our company. We pushed the employment for 20 years. Nobody wanted to buy into it. They didn't want to buy into it. And I ain't going to say who, but they didn't want to buy into it. They called me for a meeting today. We kept our vision for 20 years. We never let it go, because we knew that was important. I got called downtown. When I say downtown, I mean uptown. Set me down. I ain't know why I was there, but they did tell me, don't bring any breakfast, they're going to feed me. So I kind of thought it would be favorable. Why are you feeding me? And I get down there, y'all. The heads sit there, they say, you know what? What we need in this city is what you have. They're telling me what I already know. You had an ideal program. You have recovery, housing, and employment. We've been searching. Now we know you have to have employment. We're going to help you. We're going to have a contract in a week. After 20 years. That's faith. Never, like Ken said, the sky is the limit. There is no time limit in faith. If you believe you can be clean and sober, you see yourself and your mindset clean and sober, you let go. If anybody knew, I was talking to a friend today. We was talking about something. I said, you know what? I have an allergy to substance abuse. I have an allergy and a mental obsession to alcohol and drugs. But I also have an allergy to rock bottom. I'm allergic to that now. I'm allergic to rock bottom. I'm allergic to room and houses. They ain't in my system no more. The sky is the limit. If you like rock bottom and you like that, then you go. But I'm allergic to that now. Nothing on the bottom is impressive to me. That makes sense? You can be allergic to that. The sky is the limit. I don't want to go down there no more. I don't want to. No, I'm allergic to it. It's out of my system. It makes me break out. You don't have to live like that. Now, I'm saying that because Ken said the sky's the limit. You don't have to live like that. The list can go on and on and on. But if you do these 12 steps, it'll break you through freedom. Where you can put all that stuff behind. All right, let's turn to page 106. We're in the chapter 2, the wise. And we're going to begin where it says, we began to ask medical advice. But let's set the mindset, we can get everybody in. The chapter 2, the wise, really is Al-Anon now. Okay, it's Al-Anon. And Lois and Annie, which is Bill's wife and another lady, they kind of put Al-Anon together. And they wrote this chapter to other wives that had, or significant others that had alcoholics in their family. So they wrote about their experiences by being with alcoholics, and they wanted to carry this to other women. and they said 2 wives, and they were giving them suggestions and telling them about their experiences that they had. So right now in the pages, if you follow it, this is like our 3rd group on this one. 3rd one. I have the tapes. It's in some of the baskets. So number 1 and 2. So if right now they have explained about how their husbands had hit rock bottom, about to die. They have been through this experience and they have deteriorated all the way down to the bottom. And I think I gave an example. I know I gave an example of my dog. How I watched my dog go all the way down to dying, and I hand carried her for like a year until I had to put her down. So basically they saw all this suffering in their husbands and they're at rock bottom now. Alright, so that's the mindset. So right here where it says we began to ask medical advice, Paul.
We began to ask medical advice as the sprees got closer together. The alarming physical and mental symptoms, the deepening pall of remorse, depression, and inferiority that settled down on our loved ones. These things terrified and distracted us. As animals on a treadmill, we have patiently and wearily climbed, falling back in exhaustion after each futile effort to reach solid ground. Most of us have entered the final stage with its commitment to health resorts, sanitariums, hospitals, and jails. Sometimes there were screaming, delirium, and insanity. Death was often near.
Alright, now this is what they're saying. The wives is talking to other wives. Alright? We began to ask medical advice as the sprees got closer together. As their husbands start drinking more and more and they go on the binge or they go on the spree, they was close. It wasn't like every weekend now. It's like every 2 days. You sober up, come up for fresh air, go right back into another spree. Sober up, if you can sober up, just come up for air and right back into another one. I know for myself, I was like Bill in the part of his story where he said he did not blow a sober breath for 5 years. That was me. I probably can say 10 years. If I did that, it had alcohol in it for a long time. Alright? The alarming physical and mental symptoms. They saw the deterioration of the body and how the mind started getting warped. Alright? The deepening pall of remorse, depression, and inferiority that settled down on our loved ones. They was watching the emotional conditions of their husbands deteriorate. Watching them with those mental things. I remember, I guess, in another flavor, not in alcohol, but I can work myself. You can work yourself into a condition of stress. You know what I'm trying to say? That you're so tired. Students know that. You're going to work and going to school and trying to make class and all that. You can work yourself into a sickness. I know, and I was joking, but Ken have been here and I have been overworking because of the lack of his presence. I was on the cell phone. This is when I knew I had to pull up. I was on the cell phone the other night and I had my cell phone right here because I was using my hand. And I was talking to my mother. And at the same time, I was looking for my cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Where's my cell phone? I'm on the phone. I said, wow, it's time to take a break.
Okay.
So, I could laugh at that now, but that was a sign that I'm overworking myself, And they were seeing stuff like that, but they were drunk. They were drunk. They were saying, like, look at this fool. We got he got the phone on him and asking for a phone. Standing up with your car keys saying, anybody got my car keys? And it's in your hand. They were seeing this. They were saying it. What day is it? Wasn't we supposed to go to the cookout? The cookout over. We left you in a drunken stupor. You're a week behind. I always think about the entertainers. They miss them shows, performances. Now we got to perform tomorrow now, buddy. You got it twisted. That was last show. What city am I in? They were seeing this stuff. All right. It says these things terrify and distracted us. As animals on a treadmill, you know how they had the guinea pig. We have patiently and wearily climbed, falling back and exhausting after each futile effort to reach solid ground. You're trying to get to solid ground, but you're just spinning in a circle. You're not going forward. It says that most of us have entered the final stage. That's what we're talking about now. Going down to rock bottom, the final stage. But they observed it. They're not drunk. They're watching this as their significant other and husbands or wives deteriorate down to this. Okay? And not only did they do it, they wrote it. But our parents saw this too. Our siblings saw this too. Our children saw this too. The entire family, because this is a family illness, saw this same thing. Okay? And it says that most of us have entered this final stage with its commitment to health resorts, sanitarium, hospital, jails, treatment centers, funeral homes. Sometimes we were screaming delirium and insanity. Death was often near. We just had an entertainer die. What's his name? Philip
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
My nephew died. It's taking them out. All right? So they saw their loved ones dying from alcoholism. All right, the next paragraph, Paul.
Under these conditions, we naturally made mistakes. Some of them rose out of ignorance of alcoholism. Sometimes we sensed dimly that we were dealing with sick men. Had we fully understood the nature of the alcoholic illness, we might have behaved differently.
All right, this is very important. Under these conditions, we naturally made mistakes. All right, now they made mistakes when about this illness. All right, we talk about the mistake. We'll reverse the paragraph a little bit. Some of them rose out of ignorance of alcoholism. Even today, there's a lot of ignorance of our illness. People do not know about the doctor's opinion. I'm going to go to the doctor's opinion of what's really wrong with the alcoholic today. They still want to throw in science. Still want to throw in education. But if you just keep it plain and simple, the mental obsession and the physical allergy. You keep it on that terms, you got it. If you want to be scientific, fine. You know what I'm trying to say? If you want to do a biopsy of the body, fine. But if you take a drink, one drink, you'll know about the mental obsession and the allergy. All right? Now, I'm not going to go in that. And I saw two new people. Give them those. This is what we're going to be. This is what we're talking about. It's a DVD. What you must believe. And it says right here, sometimes we sense dimly that we were dealing with sick men. Had we fully understood the nature of the alcoholic illness, that's step one. That's the doctor's opinion. If people up here, you guys are blessed because you have the opportunity and we really break down the nature of the illness. You feel what I'm saying? We know what it is up here. We know how the mind works and how the obsession overrides all normal thinking. We know that. We know that if we put any alcohol into our system, it produces a craving that's beyond our mental control. We understand that up here. We know we're going to be in remorse. You know what I'm saying? On a well-known spree. We understand that up here. But just imagine us reading this book and nobody up here knew about this. And we get to something that said, had we fully understood the nature of the alcoholic illness, we might have behaved differently. Imagine if you did not know anything about the alcoholic illness. You don't know about the disease or how it affects the mind or the body. That would be just one sentence and you move on to the next one. It will mean absolutely nothing. And for the people that's around the world that's watching this YouTube, and this goes all over the world, if you go back to the tapes, to the doctor's opinion, I'm talking to those out there, and go back to the YouTube channel, Robert Barber, and if you look on there, it's going to say the disease. The doctor's opinion takes 1, 2, 3, 4, explains everything that you need to know about the nature of our illness. We broke that down in the doctor's opinion. Takes 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's on YouTube. Alright? Now they didn't know about that. So now that we understand the nature of our illness, I see a lot of mistakes that I made. Forget about my significant other, my wife. I made. I believe, here's a good one. Here's the biggest mistake I carried for years. Since I'm good and drunk now, you know, I need, when I wake up in the morning, I need another drink to make me sober up. Yeah. Now I believe that one. Now, after learning about the nature of the disease, my problem was I was drunk. Right? My problem is if I put one drink in me, it triggers the allergy. And it produces a craving in my body beyond my mental control. So if I take one drink, I'm going to trigger the allergy. So that's the problem. So I reach for another drink as the solution to my problem. That's plain insanity today. But I believe that one for a good 30 years. I have a problem. I'm going to reach to take a drink to make things better, but the drink is my problem. So I kept the problem going for 30 years. People say, boy, you sure look bad. All I need is another drink. I believed it. Not only did I believe it, I had family members that would go out and buy me alcohol to keep me at home. So I don't take the money, keep me at home, feed me alcohol, because they believe if I drink that home, I won't be such an embarrassment. I won't wreck the car. You know what I'm saying? I won't get in trouble. I won't go to jail. Bring them alcohol. So they believe that alcohol at home would solve the problem, when alcohol is my problem. That's just one example. It can go on and on and on and on. You know, and warped minds, and they're going to talk about that later. One of the biggest things about being warped, I was so warped that I believed that normal people were sick. I was eating out of trash cans and dumpsters. I would go behind nice restaurants. Let's say I went behind Houston's or a steakhouse, Longhorn. I like steak. So me as a homeless man, I would go behind Longhorns, and I knew in Longhorn that people didn't eat that whole steak. They take a fork and knife and they chop it. So I jump in the dumpster, pull out the steak, get the potato, put it in a bag, go into 7-Eleven, one of the gas station, put it into the microwave, heat it up, and I eat the leftovers from the dumpster. But here's the warped thinking. The warped thinking is, I outsmarted them. Why would they go in and spend $30 for a meal and I can get it for free? That's the kind of stuff that people were seeing about us. Alright? So it says that Had we fully understood the nature of the illness, we might have behaved differently. Next paragraph.
How could men who love their wives and children be so unthinking, so callous, so cruel? There could be no love in such persons, we thought. And just as we were being convinced of their heartlessness, they would surprise us with fresh resolves and new attentions. For a while they would be their old sweet selves, only to dash the new structure of affection to pieces once more. Asked why they commenced to drink again, they would reply with some silly excuse or none. It was so baffling, so heartbreaking. Could we have been so mistaken in the men we married? When drinking, they were strangers. Sometimes they were so inaccessible that it seemed as though a great wall had been built around them.
It says, how could men who love their wives and children be so unthinking, so callous, so cruel? These are questions that they're starting to ask themselves in their minds. Could there be no love in such persons, we thought? You know, when you get, like, it's a stage, I guess, well, I know I went through it, where you become an angry drunk. I was an angry person, right? I was resentful, I was angry, and I blamed everybody else. So, the loving Robert was gone. Nothing but a beast existed. And it was showing up in people's family, right? It was showing up in my family. And it was always like a used to be person and now this new guy. You understand what I'm trying to say? And it was like that. Could there be no love in such persons, we thought? And just as we were being convinced of their heartlessness, they would surprise us with a fresh resolves and new attentions. That's an alcoholic all day long. I could be the most worst person on earth, but if I thought you catching on to it, just getting close and you about ready to file for divorce, throw my butt out, I change. Right in the nick of time. You know, right then and there, I do something, start being nice. To get that other person to change this thing they about to throw on my butt. You know, we see that all the time in treatment. Guys know they getting ready to get the boot. And they turn around and change up on you. You know, we know it's temporary. We know it. But that's what we do very well, because we're con men and women. That makes sense? That's what we do. And they're thinking that, oh, he done changed for the love of it. You know, he's back, you know, or she's back. It's a con. That's the way I see it. I could be wrong. But that's what we do very well. All right? I did it so well, I would go in churches and I take it all the way. I'm religious. You know, I be drunk as a skunk the night before. And I hear my ex-wife on the phone telling her mama, I'm coming home. he got to go. That next morning I woke up, baby, I'm going to church. I'm going to turn my life over. Yeah, hallelujah. Yeah, and they believe it because they want to believe it. They want that person to arrive. They really want you to come back and not be this disgusting drunk. They really want that. And then we play the game. I don't have that. One sermon. The preacher didn't know what the hell he was talking about. First sermon in the church is time for me to go back and get drunk. But I ain't get kicked out. You know? They would surprise us with fresh resolves and new attentions. For a while they'd be their old sweet self, only to dash the new structure of affection to pieces once more. Remember I told you one thing about our illness, our disease, is that we put our families in what I like to call an emotional roller coaster. An emotional roller coaster. And what I mean by that is like, okay, this is what I used to do. I would go out, relapse, get a binge, bring the family structure down to rock bottom. Then I come back, I make all these promises. I might even be sober for a week or 2 weeks. I might go out and get a job, work a month. Bring the money home, pay some bills. I had daughters. Get the hair fixed, go take them to the mall, buy a couple of tennis shoes, and plan something. But you know what though? I really did this with 100% honesty. I had good intentions. I really wanted to do right. So I would do all this nice stuff, and I promised that we're going to Six Flags. Something simple, Six Flags. They all happy, and we going to Six Flags, and daddy home. Even the wife get happy. He home, everything will be right. The day of Six Flags, no robbers. Gone. So I was taking my family through what you want to call an emotional roller coaster. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down. But I never saw it till I came in here. I would blame them. If they just would have done something different, we might would have went there. But they nagged too much. You didn't clean your bedroom. Something they didn't do, I blame them. So we didn't go. So I shout out. Emotional roller coaster. It said that as while they commenced to drink again, they would reply with some silly excuse or none. Most people gonna have an excuse why they drink. Some people just don't know why they drink. Again, when everything's going right. Me, myself personally, I've been through both stages. At first I made up excuses to drink. I told y'all about one good excuse to drink was when I first bought, me and my first wife, when we first bought a washer and a dryer. I always had a place that had the place for it, a washer and a dryer. But I refused to buy one because it was my job to wash the clothes. I wash clothes, I wash panties, I fold them. I did the whole 9 yards. I had only thing around me were females. I ain't have boys. I would wash all their stuff, their little socks and everything. What they didn't know is that the laundromat was the liquor store right next door. So Saturday morning, I was grabbing all the dirty clothes I could get. Run out to the liquor store, put them in there, get drunk, pay somebody else, hang around and do it while I can stand out there with the boys and get drunk. So I never forget this. That went on for a little while, right? And my wife had got a job and we got a little bit more back for taxes. So she ran down to see her and bought a washer and a dryer. And I saw her, she was happy, and we got a washer. And I said, no, I don't want no washer and dryer. That got to go back. I do all the laundry. You waste that money. You could have bought something else. But my excuse was to drink. And then after you start getting toward rock bottom, there's no more excuse. You run out of excuses. I just drink because I don't know why I drink. I really don't want to drink. But I do it. I'm tired of it, but I don't know why I do it. It sounds like Paul in the Bible. I'm doing stuff I don't know why I'm doing, but why am I doing it? I don't know. But I do it anyway. I must need a renewal on the mind because something broke. That's basically what he said. So, I don't know why I'm doing it. It was so baffling, so heartbreaking. Could we have been so mistaken in the men we married? When drinking, they were strangers. Sometimes they were so inaccessible that it seemed as though a great wall had been built around them. I had shut down. Shut down. The only time I opened my mouth to have a conversation with somebody is when I got tipsy enough. Other than that, I had nothing to say. Nothing to say. I have met entertainers that when they get on stage, they can perform. Out there. Just make thousands of people do all kinds of stuff out in the audience. go backstage and talk to him. Like a wall. Have him a drink, then it starts up. You know what I'm saying? But my wall that I put around me, this is sad though, was so thick that even, and Ken, some people who got a lot of time cleaning will tell you, even today, I'm still trying to break that wall down. That's how emotionally deep it can get in you. Sometimes I don't know even how to communicate with my kids, and I've been clean. My daughter, I've been clean 20-something years. I had to question myself, should I call them or not? You know what I'm trying to say? It's that emotional scar for me is still present. I had to chip away. I have a daughter in New York. She's a stone New Yorker. Stone New Yorker. Live right in Harlem. The Apollo Theater from here to the gas station from her. She go down the Broadway shows. She know how to eat in the system. She don't have no car. Bucks at Subway. Stone New Yorker. You would never know she came from Georgia. To this day, I had the question, should I text her or call her? It's hard just to pick up the phone, you know what I'm saying, have a conversation because of that wall that's around me. And but let me tell you, it have improved. When I first got clean and sober, the wall was so thick that I had to take a jackhammer to gnaw it down. That's how thick it was, I'm telling you. Some of you people know what I'm talking about. With them family members. It's thick. And you wasn't out there, you got 90 days. I'm clean and sober, okay? You start making a million and see how thick it is. It's thick. But today, I done got like 3/4 of the wall down. I can take a little chisel and a hammer, you know, but it's still present. Alright? And some members, family member wall still there. Alright. Next paragraph.
And even if they did not love their families, how could they be so blind about themselves? What had become of their judgment, their common sense, their willpower? Why could they not see that drink meant ruin to them? Why was it when these dangers were pointed out that they agreed and then got drunk again immediately?
Here's the deal. It's deep. Even if they did not love their family, how could they be so blind about themselves? For me, I didn't know anything about it. I think my greatest thing in recovery was learning about the illness. Step one. That meant so much. It explained so much of me. You know, if you don't know that, the book says you're starting your recovery journey incomplete. Alright. It said, this is what the wise are saying. They're asking questions. What had become of their judgment, their common sense, their willpower? Now, if you understand the illness, well, I gave y'all the tapes. If you understand the illness of our disease or your alcoholism, you will know that the obsession overrides all normal thinking, judgment, and common sense. It overrides that. So that knocks that out the park right there. It overrides it. And their willpower. Let's talk about willpower. Because we always talk about self-will and God's will. That's a common thing in our fellowship. Am I right or wrong? I hear it all the time. But that kind of goes back to left brain, right brain. Remember I told you it could jail? It could come into play? Self-will is, or willpower can be defined on both ends. But the will, what happened to their willpower, like self-discipline and self-control. Having enough discipline not to pick up that drink. Having enough discipline to stay out of trouble. Self-control, you know what I'm saying? Having enough control not to go through temptation. That's willpower. Alright? And then we have this God's will. Now for simplicity, for me, look, I can do like, I hear this all the time, weight loss. Weight loss. And this is me. All you got to do is use your willpower to lose weight. I heard that all the time. I go to the gym, I hear it all the time. I go in the gym, let's say, I ain't that big now, but when I first started, I went in the gym, 250. Coming in cleaning, so I'm coming in recovery, stop drinking, start eating. I went to 250. Willpower. Just don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat that. Enforce your willpower. Okay, I do that. Paid my monthly due, went to the gym 4 days, 5 days a week. 5 days a week. Now my goal was to lose 5 pounds every month. 5 pounds a month. That's easy. That's 1 pound and a quarter a week. I'm using nothing but willpower. That's January 1st. I started. End of January, I'm 5 pounds down. Great. No, I ain't gonna say the end of January. The first week of January, I'm 5 pounds down. End of January, 5 pounds back. February, gotta go lose 5 pounds. First week in February, I lost the 5 pounds. The end of February, 5 pounds back. I'm using willpower. I got diets, I got water, I got this food, I got vegetables, I got lean chicken, I got all that for a week. Next week, cupcakes, Oreo, ice cream, cheeseburger. I went to a cookout so I can cheat. Get them 5 pounds back overnight. But here's the deal about willpower. Just, our willpower. This ain't God's willpower, this is our willpower. At the end, did willpower work? Yes, it did. Because at the end of the year, I lost, how many pounds? 60 pounds. 60 pounds. I really did lose 60 pounds. But instead of weighing, I went from 250, 190, I was at 260. I was at 260. I gained weight. Because willpower did not work. My willpower. I'll get on it, get off of it. But I did lose. Mathematically, I lost 60 pounds. But I gained more than I lost using my will. Now, that's left brain. Let's do right brain. I'm now at I got on the scale this morning at 199. How did I do it? Y'all told me about God's will. What I did was, and my imagination, I start in my mind. I close my eyes, and I had like a mirror in my mind. You know what I'm trying to say? I had 2 mirrors. I had a 250 robber. Then I had a 199 robber with the 6-pack and all that, cut. I got that robber too. So what I do is in my mindset, and in the invisible spiritual world, I only focus on the 195 robber. 195 robber. I keep that. I am 195. I don't worry about what I eat. Keep my hands in my pocket. I'm 195. I see myself at 195. Remember I told you pray from the end? I am 195. I am 6-pack. I am. See, that, I never lose that. If you put something in your imagination and you lock it in your imagination, it will never change. I don't care what I eat, I'm 195. All the cells in my body start believing. Everything about me and my existence start believing because I created 195. That's the will of God. Let's take that back into recovery. It's a whole lot easier than doing push-up. It is. It's a whole lot easier running the Kroger trying to do all this and that. You create it. You create what you are. That's a man thinking, so is he. That's the mystery of life, y'all. So check this out. What? Just imagine if you just started recovery and you got the nature of the illness down. You got how the mental obsession works, how the physical allergy works. And you say, because they say you must do the nature of the illness, you must do step 1, 100%. 100%. They don't tell you what step 1 is, but you know now what it is, and you know you got it 100%. If you could imagine, I'm clean and sober because I have a disease, I have an allergy, I have an illness, the nature of the illness, I know I have it. I cannot, never, ever take a drink. That will never change. See yourself sober, one day at a time. Just, I am sober. I have an illness. And believe it. Lock in on it. Never let it go. 1 year pass, 2 year pass, 3 years. I ain't talking about your life. I'm talking about your sobriety. You must believe it 100%. You got to put it in that right mind, the right side. You can't quit. This is not a program of quitting, y'all. How many times have you quit drinking? That you're like going on a diet. How many times you don't quit eating on a diet? Yeah, you might accumulate 1 year 500 quits. You know what I'm saying? You know your will, yeah. 500. I done got 500 quits. Can I get a chip? You know, I don't quit 500 times. Give me something. You ain't got no sobriety, but you sure quit. How many times we quit smoking cigarettes? Think about this. That's self-will. That's not God's will. God's will, you lock in on something, you beam in it like it's a laser. And you hold it in your mindset. And it becomes real in your life. All right, thank y'all for a good meeting.